Welcome to the Shark Bite Show, where we dive into the stories of our members, coaches, friends, and family of Shark Bite Fitness and Nutrition. All right, let's roll. Hi, guys. I am here, the Shark Bite Show, with a really good friend of mine who is sadly in her last week in Southwest Florida. May or may not know her. Her name is Elina Tarantieva. Boom. That was
good.
one shot, one try. That was awesome.
I know.
I've never said that out loud before. Just called her Elina.
How do you feel?
I feel accomplished.
Good.
Because I'm never going to do that again. So I would think I'd mess it up if I tried it now.
Good.
Elina and I have been friends for 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah.
She works for the Florida Grid League. She is, an avid CrossFitter. Has an awesome dog that we'll spend a bunch of time talking about later. But yeah, Elina, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me. That's exciting.
Yeah, me too. We've been trying to get this linked up for a while now. It sucks that we had to wait till the week you're leaving to do it.
Yeah, it makes it kind of special though.
Yeah, it's like a goodbye podcast.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so Elina, so let's start off with just some really vague questions. Like, who are you?
Okay, cool. So I'm Elina. I guess for work, I'm a UX designer, so a glorified graphic designer. I look at numbers and I make things functional for people kind of way. So not just kind of pretty things, but like that. I've been in Florida for 8 years now, moving out to Washington, D.C. Next week.
I'm happy and sad at the same time.
I know, me too. It's been hard, but one thing I learned over the years, it's like, and I got it from some movie, don't know which one, I should probably look it up, but how lucky are we to like have something in our lives that it makes it hard to say goodbye.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to think about it.
And I look at it that way now. Yeah. So it's, I would be much more sad if I just didn't care to leave.
It's funny you say that. When I left New York because of the Army, that's exactly how I felt. I'm like, I am leaving. I do not care. I'm out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good, I've moved a lot, like made big moves in my life. So it's been something I've always looked back at. But besides that, I'm a coach too. I've been coaching CrossFit for less than a year. Sadly, that's coming to an end too with me moving in my home gym in CrossFit Punta Gorda. I do marketing for Grid League as well as photography. I do photos on the side. I've taught a little bit in painting with a twist as well. So a little bit of everything.
What's your background in fitness? How did you get into athletics of some kind?
So I was a figure skater for a while back when I'm from Russia. So that's been a big part of our, culture and life. So I figure skated for altogether probably 8-9 years since I was 3. So I've always been kind of like into athletics, but Russia is very, cultural in its lanes. So women are supposed to do women thing, sports kind of thing. So when I came to the States, I played, I signed up to make friends. So I played soccer, basketball, softball. I went on to college, played softball for a couple of years. And then I kind of just stopped. I mean, college wasn't the same as my high school softball. And now it's been really huge in my life. It's been like life-changing to have that support system in high school. And when you expect something going into it and it's not that, you kind of gravitate away from it. So then I didn't do any sports until I've never touched a barbell in my life until I walked into CrossFit Punta Gorda. That's
cool. So how did you end up in like a CrossFit gym? Because that would be the kind of thing that scares most people away. You know?
Yeah. So when I moved to Florida, I moved to Punta Gorda. And if you know anything about it, it's a little bit of an older community. So I knew nothing. I moved for a job and my mom would come once in a while. So it's all the connections I had. I wanted a little bit of a break from work. So I like to have like an outside community as well. So I heard of CrossFit back when I lived in New York, but I was a little heavier and I wasn't like, I got away from athletics or health in general. Always wanted to try it, never really had the guts to do it. And then I remember the owner of CrossFit Punta Gorda, John Shepard, I was one of those, we call them emailers. Once they email back and forth until they finally get really comfortable commit. So that was me.
Yeah.
So I did that for a while. And then one day I just showed up to a 6 a.m. out of all the classes. Yeah.
What were you thinking? Wow.
I mean, I don't know. It was intimidating, but I love that. That's my family. I mean, we have our good days, bad days, but it's all I've ever known with CrossFit. Like it was my first thing. They welcomed me with open arms. I was terrified. I didn't even know what a barbell versus a dumbbell versus a kettlebell was. Like that's the little amount of fitness I've ever had in my back pocket. We never really used the weight room in high school or college either. Like, it wasn't that popular back then. So it was all new. It was completely, yeah. But they were welcoming. I had a community. I made friends. Like, I still thank my best friend Julie now. Like, I still remember when John was like, took my hand and was like, hey, Elina, this is Julie, this is Elina, be friends. Like, and I think that's what I've hung on to. Like, that's what CrossFit in general is to me. It's fitness, but that's what CrossFit is to me. It's like my friends and family.
Yeah, right, because the fitness part happens. And that's great.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like the stuff that happens outside of that as well, right?
Yeah, it's special.
So you talked about growing up you're born in Russia, right?
Mm-hmm. Moldova, but same thing.
Is it a different country or is it a different part of Russia?
It was part of the
USSR.
And then I was born when it was still part of the USSR in the 90s. And then it broke up by like 93. So I was born in Chisinau, Moldova. And then my mom's family is from like Russia, behind the Ural Mountains. So we moved there eventually when I was 7. Yeah.
I don't think I ever knew that. Okay. So when did you come to America?
In 2002. So a year after 9/11. And I was 12.
12 years old. Mm-hmm. What part of America did you come to?
So upstate New York.
Upstate New York.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Adirondacks, middle of nowhere.
My least favorite place in the world.
What?
Yeah.
How?
That's where I was in the Army. I hated it. So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So you came to Russia. You were 12 years old. Mm-hmm. You came from Russia. You were 12 years old. You moved to New York.
Mm-hmm. Not New York City, like middle of nowhere.
Right.
New York.
That's what most people don't understand. You hear New York and you think of like the movies and cities.
Yeah. No.
The vast majority of the state.
That's what I thought I was going to. That was not where I was going.
I didn't even think about that because everything you know about New York is probably from like movies, right?
Yeah, from like Home Alone.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it was like a culture shock, like 2.0.
Right, because you're not just in a new country. You're in like the boondocks of your country.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have a red light in our town.
Oh
we
my
have
gosh.
stoplights, like stop signs. We have a flashing one, but that's it.
What's the name of the actual town?
Crown Point.
Crown Point, okay.
Yeah.
I think the closest to that I've ever been is Lake Placid.
Yeah, so that's a little bit like south of that. Mm-hmm. So like Placid where the Olympics were, but yeah.
So you have an interesting story of how you learned English, right?
Yeah, so when I moved, I didn't know any. I mean, I knew like hello, goodbye. I don't know. For some reason, when we were offered a language class in school, because we had to.
When you were in Russia?
When I was in Russia, I chose to learn German. I don't know why. I think I had like a crush on somebody, and that made me like go do it. My mom still reminds me of that. I never knew a word of German. Never have I been to Germany. But yeah, so when I came, I knew very little. And I mean, 6th grade is tough. You move to a new country and, everybody. And plus, when you go to a small town, everybody's so tight-knit. Mm-hmm. Like, not necessarily, I wouldn't say cliquey, but it's just, they grow up together. The families are intertangled. Like, it's just, you coming into a family, essentially. So it's hard, especially if you don't know English. You're a little different. I came from a city into a tiny, tiny place. So I came in April, which was the end of the school year, but my grades were great, and I had like a little bit of a tutor to assess me to make sure I could pass to 7th grade or whatever, and I did. And that summer I took time, and that's when Harry Potter came out. So it was like that year I was reading Harry Potter books in Russian, so I had that book with me. So it was like my escape in a way. And the movies came out, so I would watch them. I don't know if I have like a problem or something, but when I was younger, when I loved movies, I would finish it and I would just rewind it and watch it again until like memorize things. I don't know what it is, but I would put on subtitles and I would translate like the subtitles of Harry Potter, and that's how I learned English over the summer.
That is so cool. That is so cool, because that I'm a massive Harry Potter fan.
Yeah.
So to think that not only is it like, the best story of all time, just
really
I'm
is.
saying it, sorry, so everyone hears it, that you are actually able to learn English from another country while watching Harry Potter because you'd read the books and the subtitles. That is so freaking cool.
And like I came back in 7th grade and I remember like learning things like bloody hell. No, we don't say that. I was like, wait, what? Because like to me, like I didn't really understand the concept of like English versus American English, because to me it was just, they're words, so that was like a learning curve as well, like the slang and all that.
That's so crazy to think, because by the time I'd met you, obviously you spoke perfect English. And sometimes I didn't even hear an accent. And
it comes out once.
Yeah, it definitely comes out.
My nerves are like mad.
This episode is brought to you by Punch Gunk. Punch Gunk is a pain relief and anti-inflammatory rub. You put it on your muscles, your joints. You're going to feel a whole lot better if you use it. I know that a couple weeks ago, my back was killing me from a deadlift workout. Couldn't bend over without strong discomfort. One of the players convinced me to use some, rubbed it on my back. About 15 minutes later, I was doing muscle ups and snatches with no pain at all. I absolutely could not believe it, but it's true. They're a supporter of the podcast now. If you want to try it out, go to punchgunk.com. Use code SHARKS10. You'll get a discount. This stuff is amazing. It's all over my gym now. The Southwest Florida Sharks and the Florida Grid League use it. Big supporter of it now. Check it out at punchgunk.com. Use code SHARKS10 for a discount. Okay, so let's talk about how did we meet? What do you remember from that?
How did we meet? Was it the combine?
So it was before that. When we first started the Southwest Florida Sharks in the Grid League, I needed help with graphic design. And I made a post on Facebook, and we had a mutual friend named Dylan.
Yes, Dylan Behrman.
Yep, put me in contact with you.
Oh, yeah.
And I had no idea what I was asking for. I didn't even know. I was just like, I need graphic design. And you were like, what do you need? I'm like, I need you to design things graphically.
I think that's how the conversation went,
I don't have any idea what I need. I just know we need things. And I think that then turned into you being like, what is this? What are you talking about?
Who are you?
Yeah. And then you decided to come try out for the Sharks, right?
Well, I got tricked a little. Dylan, so he was my kind of coach. He was my training partner for a while. And I remember him was like, hey, like his way of coaching was like, I bet you can't. And for me, I'm like, no, I can. So he one time dared me to do, I think it was like 10 hang cleans was like 150, like something. Does that sound like
probably whatever the weight was for the test?
So let's say it was like 10 hang cleans and 115. And he's just like, just do them really quickly. And he recorded me and sent it to you. And this is when it was the very beginning. So it's like, you saw mine, you're like, oh, she needs to try out. Like, no, I wouldn't. But back then, I remember that, and he like, because I had a lot of doubts in my like just athletic abilities in general too. So I think that was kind of like a confidence boost for him to like send it to you, and like you kind of become interested in it and have me come try out. So I ended up doing it. I didn't make it obviously, but the funny part was I was in the front of the paper.
Yeah, we ended up being on the newspaper.
Yeah,
I think we had 63 people try out that first year.
And I made the front page.
And you did, doing rope climbs.
Looking like I was doing legless rope climbs, but I was like actually falling off the rope. So it made me look really cool, but that's not what was happening.
So, yeah, I mean, it looked good. It looked cool. And so you didn't end up making the team that year. No. But it opened up a ton of other opportunities,
Oh, my God. I mean, honestly, I attribute so much to like that moment, and not the moment on the newspaper. That did not help
when you became a celebrity.
Yeah. But just in general, like that whole, how many people I met, how many friends I made, like just talking about your community alone, like how many people I got exposed to just from you and the friends in your gym, like they're pretty much my friends now. And it's been so cool athletically and professionally. I got to meet Mather, so who's the commissioner of the Grid League.
Mather Wiswall, yeah.
Yeah, and I ended up, that was kind of a window for me to get into all of the media stuff with them. So I ended up doing graphics for them for a while, and then I did social media stuff. And then one day we didn't have a photographer show up, so Mather's like, I have a camera, like, do you want to try? And if you know anything about photography or anything, like, taking a picture of something versus something moving really fast is very hard, and then you have to move too. So it was a huge learning curve, but I had no idea I had a passion and love for photography, and I attribute it to the Grid League. It's like one of my favorite things to do now is doing photos and just capturing how awesome people are, and hopefully have them see it.
Well, yeah. So I feel like your role with the Florida Grid League, because of that, started, I think, pretty small, right?
Oh, yeah, tiny.
And it's grown over the years, right? We just finished season 5, and you've been a part of every season.
Yeah.
What are some of how has that grown? Let's talk about like season 1, what you were doing versus like literally our biggest season ever that just finished.
Yeah, so season 1, I was working with photographers, so they would take pictures and they would literally send it to me, and I would post and put a caption up in a sense. And let's say this year I would take photos, I would, get the captions going, interview players, create content, make strategies and how, like, the things we need to interview or photograph or stuff like that, like telling a story. So now I tell stories about people versus just like,
that's the difference. Right? Because beforehand you were presenting. Now you're narrating the story. You're dictating where it goes.
Yeah, and I got to know people. Like there's something so much more to what you do when you take time to know individuals. Like Blake was one of the people I really got to enjoy to like get to know, because there's so many layers and there's so much to him as just like a player and a person. As a player, you know how great he is. As a person, he's even better. Like, that's the simple way I can say it. And I would have never known this unless I genuinely, like, I love getting to know people, good or bad or in general. I think it just tells so much about them, like why they are the way they are, why would they get upset about this, or why would they get happy about this? There's so much more in the background of people. So I always try to like keep that in the back of my mind when I'm working with somebody, taking photos of somebody, interviewing somebody, or just like getting to know somebody on a personal level. And it was so special to have that platform that Grid League has given me to teach me to get to know people in that way, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's just helped me so much in life.
Yeah, you've been directly responsible for leading me down saying some very dumb shit on microphones. So I appreciate that.
No, you're welcome. Yeah. Definitely plan ahead of time.
After the
which one?
After our most recent matches where we got eliminated, I had a couple beers and answered some questions, and I actually texted Adam afterwards, and I was like, Adam, the coach of the Wild, and I'm like, I don't know if some of those answers came off right.
They were okay.
Here's what I meant.
This is what I actually meant. Yeah. No, it's cool. It's cool to see people, even taking you for example, you've had some high highs and you had some low lows. And
yes, we did.
But it's cool, again, to have something you're so passionate about, to be upset about it or be happy about it or want more out of it. So it's, I don't know. It's cool to be able to see and take it for what it is. Like, not that you're just being a jerk and like pissed about something, but it's like you care enough to be upset about it because it brought this into your life, or because somebody you care about, it brought this into their life. I'm sure you as an owner and a coach, part of you being upset and not making it to the next level is you see that you're players and you see certain ones of them, it means more than others in a way, and cutting their, journey short, it hurts you in a different way.
Yeah, that's totally true. That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's the kind of how I like to look at it.
Well, so I know we talked about you using the things you've learned through like Grid League and CrossFit outside of like fitness, right? How have those things benefited you?
So I recently became a coach as well at my gym, and
let's talk about that first. Yeah. What's it like the last almost year being a coach?
Oh, it's been awesome. It's been fun. I've been part of that community for 7 years, so it's been super cool to grow into that role. I've seen a lot of members come and go. I've seen a lot of people come back. We have, every gym has their own kind of ways and community beliefs. So it's been super fun to be, at the head of that now and really help people get to the next level. Our gym is a little bit more of not so much competition. I mean, we have very athletic and capable people, but I think what I strive most about is that community that we have. It's very, everybody cares about each other. It's very hometown feel kind of thing. And it's cool to see a lot of people, especially a little bit older people, to really get after it and work through it and find the confidence in themselves and like get back to it. It's been super special to like help them on that journey and find different ways to talk to certain people, because I know we've talked about this before, like different people respond to different coaches and coaching styles differently. And it's been fun to be able to figure out how to coach, certain people or different ways or stuff like that. And it taught me a lot too about being a little bit more self-aware and not just, you can't be the same way to the same person or to every person kind of thing. And I don't know, I care about people. I want to know why they're in a bad mood when they get there and why they're still in a bad mood if they leave. What can I do to help? I don't know. It's more of that, because that's what that gym did to me. It really helped me through some not so good days and really good days. And I wanted to do the same thing for others in a way. But besides that, professionally, it helped me a lot with like public speaking.
Yeah.
So I am not a good public speaker, as this kind of shows. I've learned a lot. And same with Grid League. So interviewing people and, commenting, and the Grid League taught me to listen a lot more than talk, if that makes sense. and form ways to talk to people. And coaching too, just being in front of the whiteboard and, you know, doing those briefings and talking to people and commanding their attention in the right way, not the condescending way. It just really helped me, especially in my the job I just finished too, because a lot of times I have to present, and it helped me like just talk and formulate my thoughts and do that. And the interview I went through with Amazon, I mean, it was a lot. It was like three or four rounds. The last one was 6 hours long. Like it was.
Yeah, I remember talking to you as it was going on.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a basket case, but yeah, it helped me with speaking and like telling a story rather than just here's what I can do kind of thing. It's not necessarily about that. Like when you get interviewed, at least it wasn't for me. It was more about. It's not even so much. I was actually thinking about on the drive here. It's not even so much like what can you do for us as an employee. Like they never asked me that question once when they interviewed me, which was kind of cool. It was mostly like, how would you handle this? How, like, what are some, it was more of a storytelling. And I think like the Grid League storytelling and, you know, storytelling of the fitness journey, it kind of brings into it.
I could see that for sure.
Yeah. Cause my job, I mean, I'm a user experience designer. So I look at like coaching somebody as like, you're the user and this is your experience. What is the final goal? Okay. Either you want to, you know, lose weight or you want to get stronger or you want to, you know, your back not to hurt anymore. Like that's kind of the journey I'm taking you on and what's the experience I'm giving you.
So you've worked with, just in the fitness world, you've worked with CrossFit, your gym, right? You've worked with the Florida Grid League. You also did a pretty big event too, right? Wadapalooza.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you remember that?
Gosh, yeah, 3 times.
Yeah,
3 years.
So compare your experiences with that. So
Yeah,
working
I
with,
forgot
say,
about
the
that.
Florida Grid League and working with Wadapalooza, what were some maybe pros and cons, some differences?
I mean, obviously, Grid League has a special place in my heart. Wadapalooza was fun. It was my first time, you know, especially the first time I went. I've always been, when I get into something, I love to learn about it. So when I first got into CrossFit, I read about all the CrossFitters. I watched all the documentaries. I read the books they wrote. So when I first went to Wadapalooza, I mean, when I say I was like an overstimulated puppy, like seeing all of that for the first time and saying hi to all the athletes and all this stuff, like I don't exaggerate it. Like my face hurt from smiling, being so happy, and just seeing how nice they were. Like most of them are really nice. They're people, normal people. So that was cool the first year. And after that, I mean, I did a lot of, last 2 years, I did some media stuff, but it was a little bit of interview. And I think Grid League really led me to that, to know how to interview people and how to talk about that. But I don't know, Grid League, I got to be able to grow more and to really show like, here's my expertise. Here's how I can help. Like Mather and Rubi, they've trusted me with so much. Like they've trusted me more than I trusted myself about certain things. And it's been, that's the best part. Like, I think in Wadapalooza, it's a little bit more controlled, which I understand. You know, you don't know these people. They're coming in like for a weekend. Right. To get.
You're just bringing a bunch of contractors in to handle media, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. And you're hoping like 2 of them will come through at the end of the day. When you have a little bit more accountability and you know that's kind of on you, like it's cool. And it's nice that not everybody can trust you and like give that control up. Be like, okay, we trust you. Like Mather always says, he's like, I trust you. I'm like, what, you do? And it's been cool. Like I remember the first couple times I'm like, oh my God, we need to have a meeting. We need to talk about this and all that. He's like, no, I trust you. I'm like, oh, okay. And like he's honestly lifted me up so much in that sense. And him and Ruby both, just that trust that you don't even know you need to like be better. It's cool. They're cool people. Good eggs.
Yeah, I completely agree with them. If you're wondering who we're talking about, Mather and Ruby Wiswall. We had them on, I don't know, 10 or 12 episodes ago. Their brother and sister, they run the Florida Grid League. They're awesome people, good friends of mine too. So
yeah. They help you grow.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Both professional, like for me, professional and personally, both. Like it's been life-changing to just have them in my life.
I'm with you. And I told them the same thing when I interviewed them. So Ruby organizationally is she's a wizard. I don't understand it. And then Mather, his ability to communicate is wild.
Calmly.
Yeah. I've never met anyone like that. And I want to steal as much of that as possible.
Yeah. And he just like, he's so good at listening. Like that's one thing like I need to get better at. Like, because I think my like nervous defense is like, I know I can like talk to you and be like, okay, I'm nervous, but like, let's talk about this. And like almost like that nervous laugh. But with Matthew, he's like, he's so calm and he will talk and he's like, okay, no, here's our next thing. I'm like, oh, you're so good.
Oh, he's got a great saying. I don't want to say it because it'll ruin one of his superpowers, but he's going to listen to this and I know he'll hear it. And him and Ruby will laugh. You say something to him, he says something back every time. It's fantastic. Yeah.
So cool. Yeah.
So we're on to the most important part. Kevin. Kevin. Let's talk. Who's Kevin? Who's Kevin, Elina?
Oh, Kevin.
Who and what is Kevin?
Kevin. Kevin is a dog. He's my dog.
I want to be very clear.
Some people don't think he's a dog.
Kevin is a dog. Elina's going to speak about him like he's not a dog.
You guys speak about him like he's not a dog.
Kevin's fantastic, but he's a dog. Sorry, keep going.
No, Kevin's my dog. I rescued him from Nate's Honor Rescue in Bradenton. So great place. Go check it out. He was found, I'm sure a lot of dogs have sad stories, but he was found tied up under a bridge somewhere in Georgia with like a little bed and nothing else. So yeah, he was dumped. He was little, very little, like 2 months old when they rescued him, and some truck driver did it. Brought him to a shelter, and then he got tracked down because that shelter was overbooked. So he was a little sick. He had like rocks in his stomach, skin stuff. So yeah, once he got better, they put him back into like the shelters. They bring him in, and then I adopted him. Yeah, he was 3 months old.
I'm trying to think, how old was he when I met him? Probably close to that, right?
I think you demanded that I would bring him to you, like that week.
I also had no idea he was going to be the size of a horse.
When he grew up?
Yeah. Because we didn't know what he was. And he's almost as big as me now.
Guess how much he weighs?
How much?
75 pounds.
Yeah, the dog is massive. He's massive. And if you follow Elina on any form of social media, you'll see that she sets Kevin up for like intentional photo shoots all day, every day.
But the funny part about it, and like, I don't even believe half of it, a lot of times he will do it on his own. Like, he's just that funny. He does his own thing. Like, I can't explain it. And you don't think he's a dog. It's weird.
I think part of it is just like people our age who don't have kids.
Maybe.
Or we've like created like fake child in our dog,
I know.
Because I do the same thing with Wizard and Penny.
It's ridiculous. He's so good. And I've had him he's 3.5 now. So had him for a while, but he came into my life at like exactly the right time. He's the best sidekick, and animals are the best. And he's cool. Like, he will vibe with my energy. So if like I have to work all day, he'll chill out. I mean, he won't be happy about it, but he'll like chill out. But if we're ready to go, we're ready to go. He's taken so many road trips with me.
Yeah, because you're alternating between working at home, right?
Yeah.
Because as a graphic designer, you can do most of your job from a computer, right? So during like quarantine, you were at home.
Yeah.
But then you'd also be traveling literally all over the state for the Florida Grid League. Yeah. Yeah. And then going to and from New York however many times a year.
Yeah, and he's done it all. I mean, he's gone to Grid League with me. He's come to do all that. I think he almost tripped somebody doing a handstand walk one time.
That seems right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been everywhere. He's super easy. He's fun too. People love him. People ask about him more than me.
Yes, I believe that.
Most of the Grid League knows him.
Yes.
Des pretty much only talks to me because she wants to keep up with Kevin. So Adam got to meet Kevin once, so he was very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. But he brought a lot of connections in my life as well.
It's true. Yeah. It's the easiest way to meet people is to bring a dog around them. So
yeah.
So you've been working out in a gym for, you said, like 7 years now?
6-7 years. I took a little bit of time off in between. I had some injuries, some life happened. Not serious injuries, but just kind of, when you train hard, you need to feel your body correctly, you dress it correctly, and if you don't, it kind of gets behind. So, so I just took a little bit of time off, burned out a little bit, and then been back at it for probably 2-3 years. So
that's something that I'm personally very interested in right now, right? Is like the life cycle of someone who's been doing fitness things for close to a decade,
Yeah.
And what changes for you, you know? Like, how is that different now than when you first started?
Well, now I think, honestly, for me, I feel like I'm on this like 2.5-3 year cycle every time. Like, I'll go hard for a period of time, and then I kind of just like either burned out or get a little like, I don't know, I don't recover as quickly, and then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need to lay back a little bit. And then like, for me, when I maximize my training, my nutrition is top 2. And then if I don't maximize my training, it's almost like the psychological, like, okay, well, I can not watch my nutrition as much because I'm resting or recovering. So now again with moving and just things being so stressful and not routine, I love routines, and it's like non-routine like for me right now, so everything's just off the wagon. But yeah, it's just like I'm on this like 2.5 year cycle of getting like burnt. I call it burnout. I don't know what it is, but kind of just losing that, not necessarily interest, but just I don't know. Maybe it's the coaching. Like I'm enjoying coaching so much, I almost don't pay as much attention to my own fitness in a way. I don't know if that could.
I completely
have
understand
something
that.
to do with it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if I'm coming in to work out and I can see somebody that wants attention or needs attention, or it's really excited that like I am there, and it's like, hey, if you can work out together. Like I remember when I was an athlete, and like let's say even Dylan Berryman would come and work out in the same class, and he's not coaching. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Like I get to ask you questions, and I get to learn from you. And now I understand what it feels like, and it's awesome. And I will give up a workout for me for somebody else in a second. I'm sure you would too. But at the same time, then you like put your own
Totally.
Thing on the back, and there's a saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. So where is that balance? So I don't know.
Yeah, it is definitely a hard adjustment, especially when you're a newer coach, learning like, when am I a coach? When am I an athlete?
Yeah. And I think, I honestly haven't been coaching for that long to learn that. I think I would have gotten a better groove of things haven't I been moving now?
Yeah, right.
But it's something I've always been very aware and trying to figure out, because I love CrossFit. I genuinely do. So it's always a little bit, it's sad to me when I lose a little bit of interest in for myself.
Yeah, I mean, there's like an adaptation period, just like in anything else. You know, we at Shark Bite, we have 20 coaches probably.
Yeah.
Between the gyms. And that's definitely especially ones who were former athletes at our gym.
Yeah.
There's definitely an adaptation period where it comes to understanding like, okay, I used to be here just to work out.
Yeah.
Now I'm here to work out sometimes, but then to coach other times.
Yeah.
It becomes very important to like intentionally separate those two things.
It's a learning curve,
Yeah.
and I don't think I got there yet. Yeah.
I mean, you're only doing it for like 10 months. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, hasn't been that long. Holy crap.
What do we master in 10 months, right? Like,
yeah, no, it's definitely, I've learned a lot. I mean, I remember my first whiteboard, I was like shaking, like talking about sweating from the whiteboard briefing. It was terrifying for me. I think I covered like, you know how they say like say less, show more, and I think I like said way too much.
You did the opposite. You talked
and like
crazy.
didn't show anything. Yeah, but no, it's such a cool learning curve. It's a lot of personalities. It's a lot of again, different adaptations for things. And I don't know, I think being able to adapt to things is one of like the biggest things I've learned from all of my jobs put together. My million jobs.
Good.
Yeah. And I think I learned that from like moving at an early age, like leaving from a country that I mean, not that I loved it, but it was just like, it was my family. I didn't know anything else.
It's what you knew.
Yeah, it's what I knew was familiar. Coming to a different country that I didn't know anything about. The only like same thing was like McDonald's. And then I don't know, adapting. Like when change happens, I'm just like, all right, like I've always been taught to like just move forward instead of like stay there in the kind of, oh, something happened, like, okay, we're just gonna sit there. I'm like, I've always only known to like, okay, you're moving forward. Doesn't matter where you're moving to, but you're just moving. You're doing something about it instead of just sitting there.
Yeah, like no idleness.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's good or bad, because sometimes you don't process things right away and you're like, all right, on to the next thing. But
I can relate to that.
Yeah. But it's been super helpful. Even like with the move now, I don't think I've actually fully processed moving and like giving up my whole community and changing, and not only new job, it's like new place to live. Not only new place to live, but it's like in the city, like city.
And we do not live in a city here.
We do not live in a city here. No, it's like I will be taking a metro. I will be walking in the city. We're giving up one car. Like there's a lot of like huge things.
That's gonna lead to some funny stories.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, you ending up on the wrong side of town by accident because you missed a stop.
All the time. Yeah, all the time. So we'll see if I get to work.
Okay, so you've been doing fitnessing things for a long time. If there was somebody brand new who was like scared to start, right? Think about you 7 years ago. What would you tell them?
I think a couple of things. Find your person. Like when I first came to the gym, I had to find like somebody you need a teammate. No matter how hard you try to say, like, no matter, like, I'm one of the most independent people you'll meet, but, like, life is hard. And I'm not saying just, like, emotionally. We all know, like, emotions are hard to begin with. But it's just, like, in general, like, you're trying new things. Whatever reason you already came to the gym, it's already hard enough that you showed up to something you don't know. So find a buddy, whether it's a coach, whether it's another athlete, whether another anything. I have so many people that lift me up, like, day in and day out, my worst days, and it's awesome. Like, I might not finish a workout, but they're proud that I'm there, and it's cool. And another thing, like, don't be afraid to admit, like, you're scared to be there or nervous. Like, you don't need to be tough for anybody. It does, at the end of the day, you're there for yourself, and I guess be a little vulnerable about that. I've always been very competitive in life, like, not even athletics, but just in general. Like, we've always been taught, like, you need to do your best. And just because, like, for example, being in Russia, like, certain things are very advanced there and the expectations are very high. When I went to art school since I was young. So I remember when I was like 5 or 6 and we had to draw a bear or something like that. Like, if your bear did not look like a bear at 5 years old, you would know about it. And your teacher would, like, pick up the piece of paper and be like, no, like, and you'd get a bad grade about it. So it was like one of those things you always have to strive not only to be, like, your best self, you just had to be good to the community standards or, like, society standards. And it doesn't matter, like, how you got there. But I think it's something, like, I had to learn, be like, it's okay not to be good at something. It's okay to, like, be completely new and nervous and scared. And it's okay to admit that and tell somebody that, because the right people will be there for you and the right people will acknowledge it and push you through it, or maybe not push you yet. Like, there's different, maybe you need a little bit of time to be in that, like, scared stage and just get to know everything, because then you let people in and you get people to know like, you and what you're scared of or what you're good at and stuff like that. So yeah, those two things.
Cool. I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Let's see.
Uh-oh. I should not have said that.
No, I don't know. I think, I've been, like, one of your biggest fans. As long as I've known you, you've been a friend. You and Steph both, your girlfriend Steph. You guys have been such lights in my life, like, lifting me up, believing in me, pushing me through when I need to. I mean, it's not like I always call you and be like, hey, I'm scared. And you're like, oh, it's okay. And you're like, no, suck it up. Like, you got this. And it's not like, it's nice. I don't know. It's cherish the right friendships. Like, you are one of those people that I know I can call or text or write or send a pigeon, whatever you're into. But you'll always answer, and there's this between just answering, but, like, you will always care. And it's not easy to do that, and it's not easy to have that softness to you. And I don't mean it in, like, a negative way. Like, I've had a chance for you to, like, I'm very lucky you've opened up to me throughout the years, and I know you haven't had the easy of a life and anything. So it's impressive, and, like, I can't believe the hard life that you had to live didn't make you hard to life or into people. Like, in the best way possible, like, stay soft. I don't know how else to say it, but it's like, it's very, like, honorable that you can do that. And you still care, and you still let people in, and you still have so much love to give. And when you care, you actually care. So don't ever change. Don't ever let people harden you. I genuinely mean that. You're one of the best people, hands down, I've ever met in my life, and I will forever be grateful to have you in my life.
Well, thanks, dude.
Did I make you cry?
I was not prepared for that. Thank you very much.
So thank you for always lifting me up. My new job, my new journey, I genuinely attribute some of that success to you, because I don't, like, even the text message where I'm like, hey, I'm nervous, my interview is going to start in an hour. I know how busy your life is, but not once have you failed to come through and say something to, like, make me sit a little taller. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're tearing up.
You're awesome, Elina. Like, I'm speaking on behalf of me, like, as your friend, people at Shark Bite, the Florida Grid League. We're all going to miss you not being here.
Oh, I'm going to miss you guys too, but I'll be around one way or another.
Luckily, social media still exists, so it's not like it's 10 years ago when you move away, but still.
And I'm hoping to be a part of the Grid League in one way or another. Like I said, Matt and Rubi have played such a huge part in my life, in my self-development, my career in general. I'm hoping to figure out a way to still be part about it, whether I make trips once in a while. And I mean, I still have so many roots here in Florida.
Yeah, half the players travel now. You can travel.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe we'll bring it up there. Maybe we'll open the Grid League up there.
That would be cool. Last thing, Say your last name one more time.
Tarantino.
Nailed it. All right. Thanks, guys. We're all done. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us today on the Shark Bite Show. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram at Shark Bite Fitness and Nutrition, or on our website at sharkbitefitness.com. If you'd like to find out more about our guests, their information will be in the show notes. If you'd like to talk to us about getting more fit, feel free to schedule a free no sweat intro at one of our locations in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, or Naples, Florida.